Okay, in this video we're going to talk about a subject that's really important in music theory, and it's one of the common things that we as music theorists and composers and musicians in general deal with, um, especially if you're doing classical or jazz or any studying at a university or in a training program of any sort for music. You're going to want to know the circle of fifths. Circle of fifths is basically the order of the sharps and the flats as they relate to C at the top center. The key of C has no sharps or flats, it's all natural. And that's why you see a natural sign at below the C inside the circle. The letter names of all the keys are on the outside of a circle, followed by arrows pointing down or up depending on which direction they're going. This is kind of perfectly symmetrical, or symmetrical in a way where it goes around like a wheel, and each of the keys on the right side are sharp keys going up a fifth, and surprisingly, the keys going to the left are the flat keys, and those go to down a fifth from each other. So we're going to go over the sharp keys first. So first we have C that has no sharps or flats at all white notes on the keyboard. Then we have, going down the circle, or going up a fifth, we have the key of G, which has F sharp. Okay. Then we have D major, which has two sharps, and those sharps are F sharp and C sharp. Then we have the next key, which is the key of A, with three sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. So then if we go down further, we'll have the key of E, which has four sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Then going down the circle, or up a fifth again, we go to the key of B, which has five sharps. The order of those sharps are F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Okay? Then the next key that you probably can't see on this graphic is F sharp. It has six sharps, and the order of those sharps are F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, and E sharp. Okay? So almost everything is sharped. But then we have the last sharp key, which is C sharp, and it has seven sharps. And I like to think of it kind of like this. Take the key of C major and bump it up a half step. Everything will be sharped. You have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and B sharp. So if I'm not mistaken, those are the seven sharps for the C sharp key. And then we have the flat keys going down a fifth from C to F. We have one going from natural to one flat, which is B flat. And then we have the next key, which is B flat, which has two flats, B flat and E flat. Then the next one is E flat with three flats. The order is B flat, E flat, A flat. And then we have the next one, which is the key of A flat, and it has four flats, and those flats in order are B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. Going down the list, going down the circle, we have the key of D flat, which has 5 flats. And the order of those flats are B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and then G flat. Okay? Then we go down another fifth to G flat, and this has 6 flats, so almost everything is flatted on this side. And the order of those flats are B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat. Okay? So the last key going down a fifth is C flat, and that means take the key of C and flat everything. Basically, I like to think take the key of C and flat everything. The order of these 7 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, F flat, which is basically E natural inharmonically. We will get into inharmonics in a later video in the series, but you can see from this that there are different spellings for different keys and different functions for those keys. We didn't discover any sort of minor keys, but usually the rule for the minor key is you take the major key and go down a third. So major key C, you would go down a third to A. You'd have that same key signature. If you went down, let's say if you did G major, you'd go down a third, and there's E minor, 1 sharp, and so on. D major would be B minor, and the minor key for that. And then the A would have F sharp minor. If you go down a third from A, you get that. E major, you'd go down a third and have C sharp minor. And then go to B, go down a third, and you have G sharp minor. And then you have the F sharp, and you go down a third, and it's D sharp minor. Then you have C sharp major, go down a third, it's A sharp minor. Same with the flats. If you were to take B flat and go down a third, you'd have D minor for the first minor key. If you took the B flat major key, which has 2 flats, you would go down to find the minor key, you go down a third, and you would have G minor. Then the E flat key would go down a third and be on C minor. The A flat key would go down a third and have F minor as your the relative minor of that. And then you go from your D flat key down a third, you'd have a B flat minor for the relative minor. G flat, you would have go down a third from G flat, you would have E flat minor for your relative minor, and then C flat, you go down a third and you'd be on A flat minor. So there are all your keys there, major and minor. And if you study this real closely, what you'll find is these are all, whether they're sharps, whether they're flats, these are just different spellings of the same pitches recycled. And that's where we get the whole concept of inharmonic equivalence, which we'll talk in a later video about. But you'll see that, E sharp and D flat, well, that's the same pitch. You know, A sharp and B flat, that's the same pitch. But they're spelled differently, and that's very important as you go into further theory stuff. Composers will use different spellings, to make certain types of modulations from one key to a next, and so on and so forth. So that's really, the gist of the circle of fifths is that's where we get all of our keys from, all of our key signatures, the order of sharps and flats. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video or shoot me a question in the Q&A, and I'll be back with another one soon.